Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you could join me today. Today I'm starting off a new series, sort of a back to school series where I show you a few lunch ideas that'll help you get through the week. Now my husband has started going back into the office a few times each week. And I thought with a lot of you going back to school, back to college, university, and back to work, this would be a great opportunity for me to share with you a few of the lunchbox ideas that I put together for him. So for our first lunchbox, I'm going to make a moong dal omelette, and this omelette's going to be the filling in a chapati. I sometimes also use store-bought wraps for this. Today, however, I'm going to make some whole wheat chapatis or rotis at home from scratch. To make this process a little quicker on the day off, I actually make the dough the previous evening and refrigerate it. All I have to do is the next morning keep it out on the kitchen counter for about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm ready to roll these out and fry them off. I start off with the chapatis because they need to cool down completely before I can roll the omelets in them to prevent them from getting soggy. The morning is hectic enough as it is, so I do my best to try and increase productivity and save time. If you'd like to see a detailed video on how to make chapatis as well as this moong dal omelette, I will leave links to those recipes in the description box below, as well as on the top right hand corner of the video as well. Our family has always been a big fan of omelettes, be it for breakfast or a quick and easy lunch on the go like this. And ever since I've started looking at ways and means to go more plant-based, this moong dal omelette has become a regular in our rotation. It kind of hits that spot just right. To make this process a little quicker as well, I start by meal prepping that moong dal paste that you'll see in a little while from now, the previous day. That paste stays good for about 4 to 5 days. It probably will stay good even a little longer, but I've never really kept it for that much longer in the fridge. And all that's left to do on the day off is just cut together the vegetables like you can see me do here. What I've done is I've cut some onion, chili, tomatoes, and fresh coriander, added it to the bowl. To this I'm going to add a few seasonings, some salt and some black pepper powder to taste, a little bit of turmeric powder, and some kala namak or black salt to give it that slight eggy sort of flavor. To this I'm going to add some of that moong dal paste that I spoke about. Again, the recipe will be linked in the description box below. And I'm also going to add a couple of tablespoons of water to help me reach the desired consistency. Now heat up a pan, put a little oil, and spread this omelette really thin. The trick with this omelette is to get it as thin as you can and cook it well on both sides. Unlike a typical egg omelette, we prefer this one a little on the crispier side, so we like to overdo ours till it's a little extra brown. Once it's browned well on both sides, set it aside on a plate and leave this to cool completely. I'm also going to add a few veggies to the lunchbox. I'm going to chop and gently boil or blanch some broccoli. And while that broccoli is cooking, I'm quickly going to chop up some carrot into little sticks and pack this along with some hummus. Welcome to day two. For today's lunchbox, we're going to put together a Japanese inspired bowl. This lunchbox is going to be a combination of a sushi bowl and a mushroom katsu. Now, I have shared all of these recipes in the past. If you want a more detailed explanation of what's going on with specific quantities, these recipes will be linked in the description box below. Start off by making your sushi rice. I just follow the package instructions and I usually end up with a really good version of a stovetop sushi rice. To bump up the protein of this meal, I'm going to serve some edamame beans, and the typical katsu is replaced with a mushroom version of the katsu. This is just a gorgeous crumb fried mushroom version that turns out super crispy and super tasty. To replace the egg in this crumbing process, we're going to use a batter. All I've got here is some plain all-purpose flour. I've seasoned it with a little bit of salt, some cracked black pepper, and a touch of cayenne powder. And I'm going to use a little water and whisk it to form a batter. I also forgot to add a little bit of corn flour, so that's what I'm doing. About a tablespoon or so of corn flour is being added to the batter. Now, while I've got my oil heating up, I'm going to chop up a few veggies to serve in this bowl. It's all about multitasking to get things done quickly. In the meanwhile, my oil has come to temperature and I've set up a little breading station. I've got my mushrooms that I dip into the wet batter, then into some panko breadcrumbs and into the hot oil. And I'm going to fry this off till it gets golden brown and delicious on both sides. And do this over a medium high heat so that it stays nice and crispy, and repeat this process till all the mushrooms are done. We're going to put together a couple of sauces. The first one's a wasabi mayo, and this is simply a combination of some mayo and some wasabi. Adjust the quantities to suit your liking. This sauce is like a tonkatsu sauce. This one's got some ketchup, some soy, some vegan oyster sauce, some agave, and some vegan Worcestershire sauce. And I'm going to mix this up thoroughly till everything's combined. For the sushi rice, once that's cooked off, I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt and a little bit of mirin. To this, I'm going to add some of those boiled edamame beans and mix this through. And now really all that's left to do is to assemble it. On day three, I was a little rushed for time, so this one had to be something quick and easy. I'm putting together a veggie fried rice with some garlicky greens, and and typically I would have paired this off with a stir fry of some sort, something saucy on the side, but because I was pressed for time, today I've just paired this off with some kimchi. I always switch up the recipe for my fried rice, and every time I make it, it turns out different but so delicious. Today, I've started off by heating up a little oil and some garlic and onion. Once that garlic's nice and fragrant, I'm going to add two or three different types of mushrooms that I had lying around in the fridge that needed to be used up. If you've got mushrooms, please add some. You will not believe the flavor that it adds to the fried rice. Now, all that's left to do is add some veggies. I've used some carrot that I've cubed up into little pieces and a little bit of spring onion. Spring onion adds a beautiful freshness and flavor profile to your fried rice. Stir that up a little, and in goes some corn and some green peas. We've got such vibrant colors going in the pan, and it's all going to add tons of flavor to your fried rice. Season the veggies up with a little bit of salt and some freshly cracked black pepper. Mix that through. And now I'm going to add a little splash of some soy sauce. This is just enough to sort of color the veggies a little bit and add a little bit of flavor. Stir that through well. And to this, I'm going to add my rice. This is rice that I had cooked the previous day and cooled completely, set aside in the refrigerator overnight. And this results in the perfect texture for your fried rice. If you haven't tried this method yet, go ahead, give it a try and see the difference that it'll make to your fried rice. Now, simply stir everything together. Be a little gentle. You don't want to break those grains of rice, but you want to incorporate all of the veggies and sauce thoroughly. At this point, I felt that this needed a little more soy, so I've gone ahead and added a touch more and stirred that through. And just like that, your fried rice is ready. I'm going to add a little more greens to this lunchbox. I'm using some Chinese broccoli. I'm cutting the stalks into slightly smaller pieces, and the smaller leaves I'll leave whole. The larger ones I'll cut down to 2 or 3 pieces. To cook this off, we're just going to heat a little oil in a pan and start by adding the stalks in. Let this stir fry for a little bit till it becomes nice and tender, and then we're going to go in with the leaves and toss this about for a couple of minutes or till they've wilted down. Now, when this is almost ready, you're going to add some chopped garlic and toss this up really well. A little bit of red chili flakes just to add a touch of heat, and we're going to season this off with a small splash of soy sauce. Mix that through, and in literally minutes, you've got yourself a beautiful garlicky green sort of stir fry. Now, all that's left to do is serve up. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Which of these was your favorite? Let me know, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.